My name is Kirk Marley with Dovetail Planning. Had a lot of neat experiences in my career. Some of them tragic. Because I've had clients pass away, and so it's always hard. But sometimes there's some silver lining. I have one client of mine who was a developer, large developer, and at the time I was just actually taking care of his property and liability insurance, and he was very sharp, and he and I would argue about planning concepts, and he had a trust, at least he said he had a trust, and he was telling me about this trust, and I said I would like to review it. I'd like to just see what you have. And so, years later, and as I gained his trust, he gave me a copy of his trust and said, go ahead and review it. It's going to be fine. And I reviewed it and realized that it was a testamentary trust, not a revocable living trust. And a testamentary trust is created through your last will and testament. And so, therefore, all of the assets that are going to be funded into the testamentary trust are post-probate, unless they're probate-free assets. But generally, those assets are going to pass through probate. I'll have the expense and the headache and the appraisal and the court costs of a probate, and then those assets will be held in trust and distributed how the trust was written. So I went back to my friend. I said, hey, buddy, your $30 million estate is going to be probated. And he was actually upset. He said, bull crap. That is not going to be the case. I said, actually, it is. Go back to your attorney and then ask him that question. So he went back to the attorney. The attorney said, yeah, this is probatable. And he actually got rid of that attorney and found another attorney and had his revocable living trust drafted. He had a lot of individually owned assets. And so it would have been really a disaster for his wife. But ended up funding the trust. And funding the trust means you put the assets, the title of the assets, into the trust. Bank accounts and deeds and other assets that have a title should be put into the title in the name of the trust. So when you die, it's not a probatable asset. Probate deals with assets that you are entitled for individually. And so he got that all done, and then 2 weeks later he was at his cabin and he died. And it was a terrible, terrible tragedy. But his wife called me and thanked me that I had paid attention to their documents and paid attention to their plan and the holes in it. Because now she was, of course, the successor trustee. And she had complete control of the estate. Nothing was shut down. She grieved like crazy. It was a beautiful relationship. But she had time to grieve. She had the wherewithal to grieve without having to worry about the money and all the issues that would go along with a probatable estate. So testamentary trusts, have somebody review whether you have a testamentary trust. I'm not saying there's never a reason for one. I haven't seen a reason myself for someone with some real substantial assets to have anything other than a revocable living trust and maybe irrevocable trusts or other type of trusts that will move assets out of the estate. But I'd be happy to check that out. If you have a will or a trust that needs to be reviewed, I can give you some comments on it.